Thank you for listening. This course was created to help you succeed in your educational journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional podcasts, books, newsletters, and cool merchandise await. Let's get started. Management systems serve as the operational backbone for responsible artificial intelligence. While principles and frameworks articulate values and structures, it is management systems that translate these into repeatable practice. Without such systems, responsibility risks remaining abstract, dependent on individual discretion rather than institutional commitment. By embedding accountability into defined roles, processes, and records, management systems ensure that responsibility is not optional but enforced. They also provide a mechanism for integrating AI oversight into broader corporate governance, linking technical teams with executive leadership and board-level decision-making. In this way, AI management systems act not only as internal guardrails but also as external signals of trustworthiness, demonstrating to regulators, investors, and the public that responsibility is woven into operations. An AI management system can be understood as a formal set of policies, processes, and roles designed specifically to guide how artificial intelligence is developed, deployed, and monitored. The model borrows heavily from established traditions in quality management and information security, where standards like ISO 9001 or ISO 27001 provide structured assurance. The goal is to embed responsibility into workflows so that it is repeatable and auditable. Such systems are not about one-off fixes, but about building predictable processes that survive staff turnover and scaling pressures. At their best, they provide a framework that ensures ethical principles, legal requirements, and organizational values are consistently applied throughout the AI lifecycle. In short, they bring order and reliability to what might otherwise be inconsistent or fragmented efforts. The core components of an AI management system mirror its purpose. Governance structures and committees define oversight, ensuring that responsibility flows through the organization rather than resting solely with technical teams. Documented policies and standards translate abstract values into concrete expectations, guiding everyday practice. Risk and impact assessments are integrated into decision-making, identifying potential harms before they escalate. Continuous monitoring mechanisms provide the vigilance necessary to catch issues that emerge post-deployment. These components work together like the gears of a clock, each reinforcing the other. Their strength lies in integration. Governance without monitoring is weak, while policies without risk assessment lack grounding. Together, they create a cohesive whole that sustains responsible practice over time. Integration with existing policies is another hallmark of effective management systems. AI governance cannot exist in isolation. It must align with organizational values, codes of conduct, and established governance systems. Linking AI practices to data governance and security policies ensures coherence across domains, reducing gaps or overlaps. Ethics principles are translated into actionable rules, making it clear how fairness, transparency, and accountability should be operationalized. Escalation and enforcement channels ensure that breaches of policy are not ignored but addressed systematically. Policy integration transforms management systems from isolated silos into part of the broader organizational ecosystem, reinforcing the message that responsibility is as central as profitability, security, or quality. Process standardization is essential for making responsibility repeatable. Templates for lifecycle documentation ensure consistency across projects so that records of data collection, design, and evaluation follow a uniform structure. Checklists for bias testing or transparency reporting help teams remember key steps, reducing reliance on memory or ad hoc effort. Standard operating procedures for incident response ensure that crises are handled systematically rather than improvised. These repeatable workflows are particularly valuable in large organizations, where multiple teams may be working on different projects simultaneously. Standardization prevents fragmentation, ensuring that all systems reflect the same baseline of responsibility. For smaller organizations, it provides structure that builds credibility and helps scale practices as teams grow. Roles and responsibilities are another defining element of AI management systems. Executive sponsors provide high-level oversight, signaling that responsibility has boardroom visibility. Risk managers coordinate frameworks and ensure that assessments are carried out thoroughly. Technical leads translate policies into implementation, embedding safeguards directly into code and processes. Independent auditors validate compliance, offering assurance that systems are not only internally trusted but externally credible. Clear delineation of roles prevents diffusion of responsibility, where everyone assumes someone else is accountable. Instead, each role is defined, supported, and empowered to act. This clarity transforms responsibility from aspiration into action, ensuring that individuals and teams know exactly what is expected of them. Documentation requirements sit at the heart of any AI management system. Records must be maintained at every stage, beginning with data sources, where information originated, under what conditions it was collected, and what rights or consents were secured. Model design decisions should be captured as well, including architectural choices, trade-offs, and safeguards introduced for fairness or privacy. Evaluation results, including both successes and limitations, must be documented to provide transparency about system performance. Incident histories are equally important, recording not only what went wrong but how it was resolved and what lessons were learned. This body of documentation serves multiple purposes. It enables internal accountability, prepares organizations for audits, and builds trust with external stakeholders. In practice, thorough documentation becomes the evidence base that separates responsible organizations from those that rely on promises alone. The finance sector offers a clear example of management systems in action. Financial institutions face strict regulatory oversight, and as a result, their AI deployments often operate within structured model risk governance programs. Board-level reporting ensures that executives are informed of risks and performance. Formal approval processes must be completed before models are put into use, reflecting the sector's intolerance for unchecked risk. Continuous monitoring is standard practice, with institutions required to demonstrate ongoing validation. These systems are not merely technical. They embody governance at the organizational core, showing how management systems can provide assurance to both regulators and customers. Finance illustrates that in highly regulated industries, structured management systems are not optional, but essential for legitimacy and survival. Healthcare presents another compelling case. Here, documentation requirements are tied directly to patient safety and ethical obligations. Oversight committees often include clinicians, ensuring that technical decisions are balanced by medical expertise. Continuous monitoring tracks outcomes against expectations, identifying disparities or risks in real-world practice. Ethical review boards play a critical role, aligning AI practices with broader medical ethics principles such as beneficence and non-maleficence. Together, these elements form a management system that prioritizes patient welfare above efficiency or cost savings. Healthcare demonstrates how management systems not only comply with regulation, but also align technology with deeply held professional values, reinforcing that responsibility in AI is a matter of both safety and trust. Certification models are beginning to emerge as formal recognition of AI management systems. Much like ISO certification in quality management or information security, external audits may confirm whether organizations adhere to defined AI governance standards. Conformance demonstrations can reassure regulators, providing evidence that systems meet expectations without requiring case-by-case scrutiny. Certification also carries market value, signaling to customers and partners that an organization treats responsibility seriously. Third-party assurance strengthens credibility, especially in sectors where trust is fragile. For practitioners, certification models illustrate how management systems can move from internal practice to external validation. As global standards mature, certification may become not only advantageous but expected, shaping how organizations compete in regulated and high-stakes markets. The benefits of AI management systems are substantial. By embedding responsibility into formal structures, organizations increase trust among stakeholders who see consistent, documented practices. Legal and reputational risks are reduced, as management systems ensure that safeguards are in place and traceable. Scaling AI initiatives becomes easier since consistent processes allow new projects to build on established foundations rather than reinventing governance each time. Greater consistency across projects reduces fragmentation and strengthens organizational culture. These benefits create resilience, preparing organizations for both regulatory scrutiny and public evaluation. For practitioners, the lesson is that management systems are not bureaucratic burdens but strategic assets, enabling organizations to innovate while safeguarding their credibility. Yet challenges in implementation cannot be ignored. For smaller firms, the resource costs of building comprehensive management systems may be prohibitive, requiring creative adaptation. Bureaucracy is another risk, as excessive procedures can slow innovation or frustrate teams. A shortage of trained personnel in governance roles adds further strain, as demand for compliance and risk specialists grows faster than supply. The rapidly shifting regulatory environment compounds these issues, as organizations must adapt to moving targets while maintaining operational stability. These challenges remind us that management systems are not magic solutions. They require investment, balance, and cultural commitment. Without these, they risk becoming empty shells rather than living practices. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Integration with existing systems is one way organizations can make AI management systems more efficient and less burdensome. Rather than reinventing governance from scratch, AI oversight can be linked with existing structures like information security management systems, enterprise risk management, or quality management processes. These overlaps reduce duplication and ensure consistency across domains. For example, a security incident response team may already have procedures in place that can be adapted to AI-related failures. Lessons learned from decades of quality management, such as root cause analysis and continuous improvement cycles, can inform AI practices. By integrating rather than isolating, organizations create synergies, making responsibility more sustainable. This approach also signals to regulators and stakeholders that AI governance is not a silo, but part of a broader culture of accountability. Tools are increasingly supporting the operationalization of management systems. Workflow automation platforms streamline repetitive governance tasks, from bias testing to approval routing. Audit management software ensures that documentation is organized and easily accessible during external reviews. Compliance dashboards provide leadership with real-time visibility into risks and safeguards, enabling informed oversight. Document control systems manage versions of policies, datasets, and model specifications, ensuring traceability and preventing gaps. These tools reduce the manual burden of governance, making systems more scalable and less dependent on individual memory. For practitioners, they demonstrate how technology can itself be harnessed to reinforce responsibility. By adopting the right tools, organizations move from aspirational principles to practical, day-to-day accountability. Scaling management systems across organizations presents its own challenges and opportunities. Startups with limited resources require lightweight versions that provide structure without overwhelming agility. Multinationals, by contrast, must design systems robust enough to handle complexity, yet flexible enough to adapt to diverse local requirements. Proportionality is key. Controls should be scaled to the size and risk level of projects, ensuring efficiency without compromising safety. Shared services can help smaller units by centralizing governance support, while central governance structures can set standards that local teams adapt. This balance between standardization and localization reflects a broader truth. Responsible AI cannot be one-size-fits-all. It must be tailored, scaled, and adapted to the organizational context. International developments are accelerating the push for AI management systems. Europe, with its AI Act, is moving toward formal conformity assessments that may require organizations to demonstrate structured governance practices before deploying high-risk systems. Japan emphasizes soft law frameworks, encouraging organizations to adopt governance practices voluntarily while preserving flexibility. The United States continues to rely heavily on industry self-regulation, though regulatory agencies are stepping up enforcement under existing laws. Globally, a trend toward harmonization is emerging as standards bodies and regulators seek alignment. For organizations, this means that management systems designed today must anticipate tomorrow's international demands. Building systems that align with global expectations positions organizations to thrive in an increasingly interconnected regulatory landscape. Continuous improvement cycles are essential for keeping AI management systems relevant over time. Many organizations adapt the familiar Plan, Do, Check, Act model, applying it to AI governance. This involves planning controls, implementing them, checking through audits and monitoring, and acting on lessons learned. Regular review of incidents and outcomes ensures that systems evolve as new risks emerge. Updating controls based on fresh threats or regulatory changes prevents governance from becoming outdated. Institutionalizing feedback loops embeds learning into the culture, making improvement a shared responsibility rather than a one-off exercise. For practitioners, continuous improvement reinforces the idea that management systems are living entities, evolving alongside both technology and organizational maturity. Employee training programs are another critical element. For management systems to work, staff must understand not just the rules but also the reasons behind them. Training raises awareness of reporting channels, helping employees know how to act when issues arise. Skills in documentation and auditing are emphasized, since these tasks underpin accountability. Incentives, whether formal rewards or cultural recognition, encourage adherence to governance practices. Over time, training fosters a compliance-oriented culture where responsibility is normalized. Employees stop viewing governance as an external imposition and begin seeing it as part of professional identity. Training thus becomes the human infrastructure that sustains technical and procedural frameworks. Stakeholder engagement is an essential part of AI management systems, ensuring that governance is not confined within organizational walls. External advisory boards lend legitimacy, bringing independent perspectives to review policies and practices. Civil society consultation allows communities, advocacy groups, and experts to shape how systems are governed, ensuring that vulnerable voices are not excluded. User feedback can be systematically incorporated into reviews, capturing lived experiences that might otherwise be overlooked. Transparent publication of commitments and progress reports builds credibility with regulators, customers, and the public. This engagement transforms management systems from inward-looking bureaucracies into responsive ecosystems that adapt to real-world concerns. For practitioners, stakeholder engagement reinforces that responsibility is relational. AI systems affect people, and those people deserve a voice in shaping how risks are managed. Looking forward, future directions suggest increasing formalization of AI management systems. Certification pathways, modeled after ISO or other international standards, may become more common, providing external validation of compliance. Automation of compliance tracking is likely, with governance platforms monitoring metrics and generating reports automatically. Integration with broader AI governance platforms will unify risk management, ethics, and compliance into a single operational environment. Regulatory recognition is also expected to grow, with management systems serving as required evidence of responsibility for organizations deploying high-risk AI. These trends point to a future where management systems are not optional enhancements but central requirements, woven into the fabric of responsible innovation worldwide. From this episode, several practical takeaways emerge. Management systems embed ethical principles into daily practice, transforming responsibility from aspiration into action. Their benefits include improved trust with stakeholders, reduced legal and reputational risk, easier scaling of AI initiatives, and greater consistency across projects. Challenges are real, particularly cost, complexity, and the risk of bureaucracy, but the benefits outweigh them, especially when systems are designed with proportionality in mind. Continuous improvement ensures that these systems remain adaptive, evolving with new risks and regulatory demands. For practitioners, the takeaway is clear. Management systems are enablers of responsible AI, ensuring that responsibility survives growth, turnover, and pressure to innovate quickly. The forward outlook is one of increasing alignment with global standards. International harmonization efforts are likely to converge, offering organizations clearer benchmarks for responsible practice. Third-party assurance will grow, with independent audits and certifications becoming routine for high-risk applications. Demand for governance specialists will increase, creating new career paths at the intersection of law, ethics, and technology. Stronger board-level oversight will ensure that responsibility remains a leadership priority, not just a technical concern. These developments signal a maturing field, where management systems evolve from voluntary best practice into strategic necessities. In conclusion, this episode has explored the role of AI management systems as the operational backbone of responsibility. We examined their definition, core components, documentation requirements, and sector case examples in finance and healthcare. Certification models and benefits were balanced against challenges, while future directions highlighted trends toward automation, integration, and formal recognition. At every stage, the theme has been consistency, accountability, and trust. Management systems are how organizations translate lofty principles into enforceable practice, creating resilience in the face of evolving risks and expectations. Looking ahead, the series will turn to internal policies and guardrails. While management systems provide the overarching structure, guardrails specify the day-to-day rules and boundaries that guide responsible practice. Together, they form the twin supports of responsible AI, systems for governance and rules for operation, ensuring that responsibility is both institutionalized and enacted at the ground level. Thanks for tuning in to Bare Metal Cyber, your trusted source for cybersecurity educational materials, news, and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.